Hello everyone, rudyxx here to talk about another RPGalooza game, Breath of Fire 3. And for those of you that don't know, RPGalooza is a project I started involving playing through a huge list of RPG titles, ranging from Western style to Japanese. And while I'm not a huge RPG connoisseur, I do like to dabble in them every now and then, and so hopefully I can provide for you a more modern day gamer's look at my experiences with them. So with that out of the way, on to Breath of Fire 3. I remember receiving Breath of Fire 3 as a birthday present the year I got a PlayStation 1, along with Final Fantasy Tactics and Final Fantasy 7 on that same birthday. And out of the three games, I dove into Breath of Fire 3 first. I don't remember if I liked the game or didn't like the game because it was such a long time ago, but I know that going into RPGalooza, I've on and off watched enough speedruns of the game over the years to already have some pretty strong idea of what I was getting into along the way. Breath of Fire 3 is a fun adventure with a lot of twists and turns along the way, but the one thing that stuck out with me the most was how often the game forces you to use certain characters as you go through it. Breath of Fire 2 also had the same issue, and it's one that really annoys me in how it's handled in both of those games. There's games out there that do something similar, but they tend to evenly distribute experience points onto your other characters so that when you're forced to use them, at least they aren't like level 1 and naked or something, so that you either are forced to go level up that character or just ignore the fact that they are even in your party and just leave them dead the entire time. Now, I understand that one of their reasonings for doing this is because the game uses what it calls the master system. You can have a character train under a master so that they gain additional stats and abilities based on the master that they are studying under every time they level up. It's cool and actually allows for a lot of unique customization to your party. And while I'm sure they have other reasons for not giving side characters experience, like buffering the length of the game or something, it was really a drag when I would get like 75% through a dungeon and have to go all the way back outside or to some other part of the dungeon just to swap out to some other character I didn't even want to use to begin with, just so I could get past one puzzle, and then have to decide if I should even go back after that and replace the character or just push on and hope I didn't die to whatever upcoming boss with my slightly gimped party. So while the master system was cool, the fact that this may have been one of the reasons that it was handled this way is actually more annoying than cool for someone like me. But with the exception of this one incredibly annoying flaw, I enjoyed the rest of my experience with the game. The story itself is pretty great and has its fair share of twists and turns. The artwork is really good and the sprite work is exceptionally amazing. The music is fantastic and generally fits in really well with setting the mood for whatever area you're in. Most of the minigames are pretty great and well done. There's a few, like the one with the well, that are mechanically pretty low effort and kind of annoying at the time, but didn't really ruin the overall experience for me in any way. Then there's ones like the fishing minigame that were actually incredibly fun, and despite honestly not having a whole lot of actual reason or need to do the fishing game beyond a few useful items, it was incredibly addictive and fun enough to just do it anyways for hours on end. The dungeon puzzles were generally pretty well thought out, but like I mentioned before, too often you were forced into using characters you really didn't want to use, so it was kind of a drag in a way. I think overall though, I'd give this game an 8 out of 10 for RPGalooza. But I will say that having a lot of the resources that I had definitely improved my experience with the game a lot. I understand not everyone wants to use a guide for everything, but this is definitely one of those games where the encounter rate is high enough and annoying enough that knowing where to go for most of the dungeons, as well as which items are actually useful and which characters are force required, will strongly pay off for you in the end. Anyways, if you enjoyed this video and would like to look forward to many more RPG reviews in the future, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. And if you're interested in seeing me actually play through a variety of games in real time, make sure you follow my Twitch stream at twitch.tv/rudyxx. Thanks for watching and see you next time.